Hello everyone. So yesterday I did a particular video. I can't even remember which of the video it was, but it was a comment that I saw that really struck my attention, and I screenshot it and I said I was going to talk about it. Even as I screenshot that comment, there was something that came to my mind. Sometimes you just have these statements or just statements or words that just came to my mind that you never thought about, but they become so apt and they make so much sense. So this is the statement, and it says it is from Ada Judith Chuku. That's the person who sent it. She said, "In the last election, I fought for a better Nigeria with everything in me and was ready to die for it. But after all that happened, I gave up and concluded that Nigeria is really not worth my blood." You see, I totally understand this sentiment. And I understand what it is that led to this disillusionment that you see, where people who were ready to give all to Nigeria are not saying, no, they are not going to. But this is it. So after I read that statement, and I immediately wrote it down, this statement is, and I thought about it after I read her statement, I thought about this, is that Nigeria does not need your permission to kill you. She says she's not, she feels that Nigeria is not worth dying for. A lot of people have been at that mindset. But the thing also is that Nigeria will not ask you your permission before it kills you. It will kill you irrespective. Whether you decide Nigeria is worth dying for, Nigeria is not worth dying for. And that's why when I talk about victimhood, I say all of us are victims waiting to happen. And the more we do nothing, the more being a victim becomes more of a reality. I know many people will say, God forbid, it's not my portion. Inshallah, it will never happen to me. In Jesus' name, it will never happen to me. But guess what? A lot of other people who became victims have said the same thing. And so when we look at this whole thing, we must understand that the main difference between us and those who continue to destroy Nigeria is the fact that those who destroy Nigeria never give up. They are tenacious. They stay on. And yet, at the first drop of heart, those who want Nigeria to work will give up. We say they are not doing. They've put in 6 months, they put in 1 year, they put in 10 years, they put in 15 years. But those who are destroying Nigeria have put decades upon decades upon decades, and they are still going. So the thing here is, we see a lot of things that happen. Let me even give you an example of the people that went to collect gifts that were being given. Stampede. In 2 days, we lost almost 50 people, if not more than 50 people. Stampede. People died because of food. People died to get a bag of rice or even less. And that says a lot. So when Nigeria was taking those people, he didn't ask their permission. He didn't ask them, do you want to die for Nigeria or not? Are you ready to die for Nigeria? No, it took. When we go on roads that are not good, and there are potholes and all of that, an accident happen, Nigeria is not going to ask your permission whether it should kill you in that accident or kill anyone. It will happen when it will happen. When people are driving and then a whole container will fall on top of their cars and just squash them, Nigeria did not ask those people for the permission to kill them, or whether they were ready to die for Nigeria or in Nigeria or sacrifice for Nigeria. Nigeria took them. And as long as we keep giving up and say that we will no longer do anything because we gave our all the last election and so we are not doing, it will take more, because those who are doing evil, they will never stop. They do not have a place where they draw the line and say enough is enough. There is no enough is enough where they are. They take. They will squeeze us, they will squeeze the last breath out of us. And so, this is where we are. What I would like us to do as citizens is never to focus on the results. Let's focus on our efforts, and let's take the little wins. When we focus on our efforts, we always come back from the position of what was it that we could have done better. So you say you've given your all. A lot of people give their all, right? But the question we have to go back and ask ourselves is, what is it that we would have done differently to get a different result? And is this something that's within the ambit of the law? Is this something that we can do and be able to raise our head and say it anywhere, any place, that this is what we do? One of the things for you to be able to gauge right or wrong is the fact that, is it something you're able to proudly tell people that you did? If it's something you're not proud of telling people that you did, most likely it's not the right thing. Most likely it's something evil, something criminal, something against the law. So that's a simple thing that we all can do. But let's remember, repeatedly we've seen how Nigeria keep worsening. And people are sitting there waiting and thinking that one day there will be one giant hand that will fix everything. It's not going to happen. It's just going to worsen. In yesterday, 10 years ago, we thought everything was so bad, but now see how bad it is. When Buhari was in office, we thought nothing could be worse than that. But see where we are today. And so therefore, it is very important for us, if we don't want the issue to degenerate into a place where we'll sit down, we'll no longer even recognize Nigeria as a country, then we have to put in our all. We have to do our bit. And I tell you, it is very difficult. And for anyone who has, and this is not me trying to gaslight people, emotionally blackmail people to continue to do. No, it's okay. When you come to a point where you say, I'm no longer doing, it's very much okay. I'm just saying that it doesn't mean that it will end. And it doesn't mean that Nigeria is going to seek your permission, whether you're ready to die for it or you're not ready to die for it. Nigeria is always ready to take victims. And it is Turn by Turn Nigeria Limited. And one of the things that Nigeria has the capacity to do a lot is that it has the capacity, to deal with everyone. And so yesterday's victims were once survivors. Today's victims were yesterday's survivors. And tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors. The question I always ask is, who is next? You understand? The victim card is going around, and being a victim is no longer a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's the reality that we found ourselves. If we do nothing, it will only continue. The next generation are going to get it. That's our children, our grandchildren, our children's children's children. They are going to face it. The people who are oppressing us today did not start. It started by their parents, their parents' parents. They oppress our parents. They oppress our parents' parents. They are oppressing us today. And if we do nothing about it, they will oppress our children tomorrow. And that's why it's always a choice we'll make, whether we face the oppressors right on, or we continue to allow ourselves to be oppressed and do nothing. The one thing that I always know is what Nelson Mandela said, that is impossible until it is done. Many people are afraid of defeat. They say, oh, we can't win. I say, yes. When you go in and do, it's either a win or a failure. And either one is possible. But when you don't do anything at all, it will always be failure. I, Aisha Yusufu, would rather someone come and defeat me rather than for me to defeat myself by giving up. So as for me, giving up can never be an option. What about you?